friends, Shayla here. So I am here to talk to you about some ongoing manga series that I am still madly in love with. Well, this is kind of a favorites list. It's not my top 10 of the year list, but these are some that were mentioned in previous year's videos that are favorites that I'm absolutely still loving and adoring in 2020. I really wanted to still put them on a list, and so here we are. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first one I have here is Girl from the Other Side, Celia Rune by Nagabe. This series continues to affect me very deeply the further I get into it. This volume in particular, especially the end of it, gutted me in a very unexpected way. I did not expect to have such an experience with this series. And if you're not familiar with this series, what this is about a young girl named Shiva. She seems to be immune to this disease that people seem to be catching that turns them into what they call outsiders, kind of these tall, creepy... Let's see, is there an image of an outsider here pretty close? I don't know if you can really see that, but this. So they turn into something similar like that, but she seems to be immune to it. And so people are very curious about her. They think she's one thing or another thing. And it's about her experience with that creature called Teacher, who kind of loves and cares for her. And it's really sweet and gut-wrenching in a very unexpected way. So much about this series. I want to tell you, but all I'm going to say is go read it. The style in the art is very sketch-like. That's very not spoilery there. But it's very much in that rougher sketch style rather than the smooth, clean lines that we see in a lot of manga. So I highly recommend checking out this series for a myriad of reasons, but it's just beautiful. Next up is The Ancient Magus Bride. Nobody's surprised that this is on my list because I continue to love and thrive on The Ancient Magus Bride. Chise and Elias are having a great time at university, and this volume in particular had some really great things. We're getting to know more of the political side of the world now. We haven't really run into that too much, but now we're getting into the political side of the human world since we're spending more time with the humans, and it's really interesting. I continue to love and adore this. Elias is here on the back. I promise he's still around. And it was just so good. And Chise is making new friends, which is good for her. And I really just love it. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. I love it. Next is one that it is my goal to get so many people to at least read and try, and that is Requiem of the Rose King. I continue to love and adore this series. This is the most recent volume, and I'm so sad that I don't have another volume till next summer, so I have to live vicariously through all of you as you're experiencing it. I know Takano is reading Requiem of the Rose King right now, and his little reactions that I'm catching on Twitter are feeding my soul, and so I need y'all to read this. This is essentially Richard III and Henry VI from Shakespeare mashed up into one story with a manga twist to it. It is so good. I love this so much. We're getting an anime next year, so I promise it's worth the read if they're going to give it an anime here in the US. So y'all, you just need to read Requiem of the Rose King. It's so good. It's stunning. The art is amazing. This whole volume is a giant spoiler, so I can't show you any of the art. But I love it. I love it so very much. I have so many feelings. But you all just need to experience it for yourself. Next up is another one that no one will be surprised by, and that is Yono of the Dawn. I will never shut up about this series. I love it so much. I'm tearing up because I love it so much. This volume in particular might be my favorite volume of manga ever. Those of you who have read this volume know what I'm talking about, so I can't say. We're 26 volumes deep. It's a giant spoiler if I tell you anything. But I love this for so many reasons. We continue to see Yono grow and become the amazing woman that she is. And I just love it. I love it so much. I love them. I love all the things about this series. There's not a thing that I don't like about it. There, I can just show you, the art is beautiful. All of the characters are amazing and very individual. I don't feel like anybody blurs into anybody else. Like, everybody is their own distinct personality, and it's so stunning. I love this series so much. It is so politically driven while also being a, you know, self-discovery kind of journey and a hero's journey. And there's so much good. If you like fantastical or fantasy reading at all, you have to read Yono of the Dawn, because this is the epitome of a fantasy romance shoujo manga. That is exactly what this is, and I love it so much. I've had several fantasies here in a row, and I've got one more before we get into some not fantasy, and that is Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Y'all know I need y'all to read this series, and it continues to grow and develop into something absolutely beautiful. I even like tabbed parts of this particular volume because the discussions that are being had in the latter half of this particular volume are fantastic. But this kind of finishes a story arc that we've been in for a couple of volumes, and that was really well handled and really well done. So I'm really excited for the next step in this series. I just love this so much, guys. It is so underrated in the manga community. I'm one of the few people that truly champions this. I recommend it to everybody, and just like I'm recommending it to all of you now. But still, like, people are hesitant to pick this up. Like, the romance is there, but it's kind of in the background. It's more about the political side of this world and about how Seraphi has to find her footing in this unknown political world, because she never thought she'd be there. She was supposed to be a sacrifice, and now she has this very important place, and she's just finding her way. And it's beautiful. I love it. She has her own kind of strength. It's more of a quiet, in the background kind of strength compared to someone like Yona, but I absolutely adore this. Please, please, please try it. Next, we have Hatsuharu. Hatsuharu, the final volume is supposed to come out this month. It might have gotten pushed back to January. I don't know. But this one is almost done. I continue to love it and thrive on it. This volume fed my soul so well. It was so delightfully good. I love it so very much. I hope with all my heart that you guys give Hatsuharu a try. It does have more of a male-centered focus, like a male perspective focus, than a lot of shoujo, so I highly recommend checking it out, especially if you're used to reading shonen. Like, Hatsuharu might be a good place to start with shoujo, or like My Love Story, but if you wanted one that's been currently publishing and is more recent and easier to get your hands on, Hatsuharu is going to be that. Next we have Waiting for Spring. We've got one more volume coming out of this series. I love this. My ship sailed. I'm so happy. And I love this so very much. I'm really interested to see how the final volume will conclude this story, because, man, it left us, like, in the middle of something really important at the end of this volume, so I was slightly annoyed. I would rather just take, like, a beefier last volume. But, yeah, I'm really excited to see how this wraps up. Next we have Beastars. Volume 9 is out. I just don't physically own a copy yet. But Beastars continues to get better and better. Like, once it takes that turn in Volume 5, like, and the tone kind of changes, by Volume 6, I was so on board. And I'm so on board for this until it's finished. I love it. My husband adores the anime. So I cannot wait for him to experience what's going on in the story right now. It's so, so good. Y'all, like, go read Beastars. And no, you're not a furry if you like Beastars. I'm going to put that there right now. Another one that I continue to really love is Magus of the Library. This is a really sweet story, and I know we're getting a new volume soon. I think it was supposed to be out at the end of this year, but it might have gotten pushed back to January. It's a Kodansha title, and they tend to push theirs back sometimes. And the journey that Theo goes on in this series is just so sweet. It's just about this boy who wants to read and become a librarian, and it's beautiful. And it feeds a book lover's soul in the best way. So I highly recommend checking out the series if you haven't. Yes, we're caught up with Japan, so the time between volumes is longer, but these are also beefier volumes. They're longer, so they're definitely worth the wait and the financial investment. And then last but not least for this list, I figured I'd just make it 10 just to make things easy. And that is Wotakoi. We finally got volume 4. I've been waiting for volume 4 for like 2 years. I did a whole reread of this series of the 3 before this and then read this one. So you can see my live reactions to this series, but this is a great office rom-com. I absolutely love it. It's about nerds and nerd culture and being a nerd or an otaku as an adult. And it's so good. I love this. This volume had me squealing at so many points. I love it so much. I just love this series. I love Wotakoi. And how love is hard for otakus. I know we're gonna get another one. I think the next one's pretty much ready to go. I'm not sure when we'll get it though. But anyways, I absolutely love and adore this. Please check out this series. It's got 4 of these 2-in-1s out, so there's really like 8 volumes of it out. And so we get 2 at a time. So yeah, the 7 and 8 of the Japanese volumes. And I think the Japanese volumes are up to 10 now. I don't remember. So I'm not sure when we'll get the next one, but I'm hoping soon. Anyways, friends, that is my list. Tell me down in the comments down below what some of your ongoing favorites are. And I will see you guys tomorrow.